Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your hosts Edward McQueen and April Garner.
And we are live. Good evening. I'm Ed McQueen, your host for today's program, WCM Live. And of course, to the left of our screen is Miss April D. Garner. She's the co-host. So we're smiling because we got a lot in store to propagate to our audience. I like that word, propagate to our audience, and for them to view today. For those of you who've seen the promotion, we're talking about a powerful subject today. That some of the things that we weren't keenly aware of. I know some of the things that I was not relative to your dental care and dental treatment and dentistry in general. So without further ado, what we're going to do, but first we got the powerful. I used to call them Twin Towers, but we changed. It's now the Porterfield Report. I'm telling you, they're coming on strong, and you're going to see a lot more of them as the weeks go on. And I'm so proud of them. I'm so elated. That's one of the reasons why you saw me smiling coming on. April, let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
All right, we're welcoming Destiny and Desmond tonight for the Porterfield Report.
Right.
How are you?
Good.
They're smiling really hard.
Really, that's so nice. Hey guys, how you all doing?
Good.
We're doing good.
Doing good. Wait,
yes,
you sound good. You sound good. Come on, smiling. I mean, so that means that you got some serious stuff that you want to talk to us about. And as a preview for the audience, let our viewers know that you've been our point people at the city council meeting, Conway City Council meetings, and sometimes our community doesn't get the grasp of it because there's so many other things that are happening and about what the city council is doing. And even though they have their own TV program or broadcast, but it's not like, make me say this, it's not like when you guys reported.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Let's say that. All right. So let's do it. So what's he going to talk about us today? Inform your viewers.
Okay. So when we were at the city council meeting, there was a lot of things said. We were at the first time we went. They were talking about upgrading security cameras in Smith Jones. They were also talking about decorations.
Wow.
In the city of downtown Conway, which I recommend going to see because it's very beautiful.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Things I liked about when they said upgrading Smith Jones security was that they're upgrading the cameras. So that makes me think that it's making people safer because, the cameras in Smith Jones are really old. So upgrading it would make me feel safer if I go there or anybody else or any family members go there because,
or Destiny.
They're not running slow and they're not sending slow feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also talked about the Coastal and Upstate game for homecoming for Coastal this year, and they're showing it on. How would I say this? They're showing it on the big screen in Conway, downtown Conway.
They were showing it.
Yeah, they were.
Coastal Carolina won.
All right.
Okay. You're right.
App State. It was a very nice thing for them to do and see because homecoming. So right. I was very excited for that, and I know my cousin was cheering as well because he went to Coastal, and they won. So
they won.
Yes, sir.
And we also took some pictures and everything. And I know one of the pictures that caught my eye that I took, it was like they have a skeleton pathway with all the skeletons and everything and they have like, so around like the city hall, it's like, not, I would say webs. They have webs and like the witch's garden, and I recommend like going to see it and taking pictures in front of it. It's very interesting.
Well, the city usually goes all out for Halloween and for Christmas, right? Kind
Yeah.
of turns into a little Halloween town.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they celebrate like a couple of weeks before Halloween, and they have the pumpkins in the trees and all of that, and so yeah, it looks really festive down there.
Yeah. And one thing also, when we were taking pictures, we took pictures with I forgot his name. It was a chief of the police, Horry County Police Station, and the thing that caught my eye was their I want to say badges or their patches on the side
Yeah.
of their
Blue
uniforms. It was the outline, the stripes were pink instead of blue.
Oh, for Breast Cancer Month.
October.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
Awesome.
and I think that's a very neat thing for them to do, to support and help out.
Yeah, that October is Breast Cancer Month. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
So wow.
So let me ask you this: this your first city council meeting?
That was our very first one
Yes,
that
our
we
very
did.
first one that we went
Well, not yesterday, but
yesterday was our second one.
second one. But the one
Okay.
the Monday, 2 weeks
Yes,
before then.
Okay, so now that you've attended a couple of city council meetings, I'll even go back to the very first one you attended. Was it anything like you ever imagined as far as the city council meeting and how they conduct business and all of that? Were you surprised by anything?
Yes, ma'am. I was surprised on like the one that we saw yesterday. There was a man, he was there. He got called up like for a public input,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and he spoke about the possible buying of the oceanfront fish market, and about
The
how the
riverfront.
city,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yes, and about how the city wants to buy it. And he was like,
He was very upset about it because he said I want to say he was saying some very rude things,
Mm-hmm.
and he was getting to his point. But when I was listening, it sounded kind of rude from my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like he was just targeting not the whole city council, but our mayor, and that's what caught me and my attention to that. And I was like, okay, I mean, still, how would I say this? If you're getting to your point, but why are you just targeting the mayor or Conway mayor? Don't everybody else have something to do with this?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
even if the council are doing something wrong, why are you just targeting the mayor? And I'm like, okay, something needs to happen or something. And it caught my attention, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and watch, because it got very interesting, because also I wanted to get up and actually say something, to help out, but I just sat there and listened to what he had to say, because it was a public input. So and I got that.
Correct, and that's what I was going to say. And I think listening to your takeaway from that particular situation in a city council chamber, when public input is allowed, and that's exactly what it is, public input. One thing that I'm sure you both realize is that people can come in with their thoughts and opinions and grievances or whatever it is, and they have a right to express those things. But at the same time, it is pretty shocking when people take on a particular issue in such a passionate way that it does come across as disrespectful or rude or whatever to our elected officials. But I think that in my butt is rooted in the fact that people are able to present their input, and it's not always going to be positive. A lot of times it is particularly negative, and it's definitely rooted in whatever they feel passionate about. And so it really takes thick skin, I would call it, and a high level of resolve to be an elected official, because you have to take that public input if it's positive or negative, right, Brother Edward?
Right.
And because you have to hear the constituents out, and you have to understand that everybody has a thought, everybody has an opinion about things. It's what the elected officials do with that information once they understand how the people feel that really matters. And so, and then also you have to take into account who's actually giving the public input. So there's so much that you have to, really digest and kind of filter through if you are a public official, as you try to figure out the right thing to do or the next steps. And so you're only 2 meetings in, and even tonight with that little bit of insight and the fact that you're questioning how people behave when it comes down to, just providing public input, it says a lot.
That's right. Absolutely.
You both were very attentive. You both were very attentive.
Yeah.
And, inside of that, you were able to determine what you felt would have been the right thing to do. And I'm glad, Desmond, that you felt compelled to say something, but you understood the protocol with it being public input and what you would have to do in order to be able to say something. So even 2 meetings in, do you think you guys would ever want to be politicians?
I don't know about that.
That would be a lot of thinking.
A lot of thinking, Destiny. I agree. Because it takes a special somebody to go into that arena to really advocate for things and to stand their ground on particular issues when they're being challenged in ways that really and truly just sometimes don't even make sense. So I applaud y'all for attending the city council meetings. And Brother Edward, I already love the way they handled their report.
April.
Yes, ma'am.
Also, I think the reason he was upset because, like he was saying, I was listening. He also said that the city asked like the people for over $3,000 or more, and he felt like they weren't using it for anything and that they were using it for no good. And he felt like if they weren't using the property, why buy it?
And do you think those were valid questions?
I think so. Because in this world, nowadays in our generation and back in the time, some people back in these days, people in other states and cities they buy property but never use it. Hold on to that property, and then it's never used, and they're just cutting that down, trees and everything like that we actually could use.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that.
And this takes me back to I think don't get me wrong, I think this takes me back to elementary school, where they taught me if you cut down trees, it's destroying the ozone. No, not the ozone layer, but it's the ozone layer. And now that you have more animals and species being grown, where are they going to live? And then that could just get out of hand, and then everything could just break out.
Yeah, it starts to impact the environment.
Right.
And I feel okay, so from my point of view, they're building more houses. Like on every corner you turn, they're building more houses. They're building more stores. They're building the same stores like 2 blocks down from each other. You may not. There's one store like Dollar General. You see them all over the place, and they're like 2 blocks down from each other. You don't need everyone on like every corner, because you're taking down the trees, and I get some people need places to stay, but it's also like you don't have to cut down the natural resources. And
oh, you're environmentalist, boy.
That's what it sounds like.
Animals live. I
Mhm.
mean, I get people they rent out houses, they buy all this land, but they never use it.
Well, when you get into politics, you'd have some greater say so into that. Okay, I know you don't want to be politicians. you have the opportunity to not to be authority, but the opportunity to provide guidelines, okay, to whomever wants to do that and disturb the environment and stuff like that. So we'll get onto that. Yeah.
Well, was there anything else that was covered aside from the public input? So they talked about security cameras, the decorations in the city of Conway, the coastal app state game. You recommended, yeah.
Oh, they also talked about they're gonna be showing the starting after I think Thanksgiving of this year, and for the rest of the year, they're gonna be doing shows. I think at CCU. I would have to ask again, but they're gonna be doing shows at CCU about the Nutcracker and I forgot. It's one other movie.
So the holiday shows, the Christmas holiday shows. Oh, okay. All right.
Man. And I think that would be something interesting for people to get out to see, and like if family are coming down, for the holidays.
Yeah.
They can go see that.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right. Get a good overview and oversee.
I love it. Yeah. I absolutely love the Porterfield Report. I love it. I'm gonna have to find y'all some theme music.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Everybody has got to have a theme music, okay?
That's right, Brother Aaron. That's right. I'm gonna find some theme music. You guys did a beautiful job, and we look forward to hearing the next City Council report. Very good job indeed. Two thumbs up. Look, 2 thumbs up. Absolutely. All right. Well, Brother Edward, we've heard it from Destiny and Desmond tonight. The City Council update. Yeah, we really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a good one.
It's next time.
Woo.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot. I'm kind of filled up over that. That's
you should be filled up over that. Yeah, I mean,
glad to see that.
Yeah. And we must remind the audience that Destiny and Desmond are in high school. I mean, they're
actually twins.
They're twins. They're in high school.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're hearing that the takeaways from our young people. They're watching and they're listening.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, well, Brother Elwick, what do we have up next?
Well, some interesting things came about 6 months or 8 months ago when we first had our guest on, and he talked about dentistry, but he didn't get around. He wanted to talk about diabetes related to dentistry and stuff like that. Didn't get around to do it, and I always wanted to hear that. We finally got him back to elaborate on that and give us some good information as to showing the I guess a correlation, for lack of a better word, of the two and the impact that one has on the other. So shall we bring him on? Do you want to do commercials?
No, we can go right into it. I'm sure he wants to get into it. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome Dr. Hodges to the screen. How are you, Dr. Hodges?
Good evening. Good evening. How you doing?
All right. Thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank y'all.
Dr. T.
Thank y'all. Listen, thank you for getting me back on. I appreciate you allowing me another few minutes, because I think we weren't done that first time.
Yeah, right.
About diabetes. This is one of those where I feel like we as a people can be a little more aware, not just as a people. I think everybody. I population can be a little further awakened to the problems that we can endure.
Right.
We don't take care of ourselves. So, but I'm glad y'all invited me back on.
Well, absolutely. Well, give us all these things about diabetes and dentistry, man, and just fill us in, and because I'm sure there was a lot that was missing. There's a lot that needs to be told about it.
Well, I will.
At least the relationships.
I'm gonna surface level talk about diabetes, just diabetes. Diabetes.
Right.
I want to understand what diabetes is. Diabetes is the inability of a person to actually either A, make insulin, or B, use it effectively.
Right.
Okay. The next question after that is, okay, what does that have to do with me? When your body cannot either make insulin or metabolize insulin correctly, the cells are not effective. The organs are not effective as they can be. The long-term effects of your organs not being able to work correctly leads to a host of other problems: kidney failure, eyesight failure, obesity, so on and so forth. But as it pertains to oral health, what I will say is many people don't realize that when it comes down to your teeth, diabetes slows healing. At the end of the day, our mouth, our oral cavity is in a constant fight between bacteria, good bacteria versus bad bacteria. We also understand that periodontal disease, I don't know if everybody knows periodontal disease, is a disease in the mouth where the tissues and the structures that are holding on to our teeth are in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So when our bodies can't heal fast, when our bodies can't effectively fight off the toxins and the bacteria that it needs, namely the ones that are in the sulcus and the gingival sulcus of our teeth or of our sockets, we lose teeth. That's the quickest way or the briefest way, surface of that I can give it to you. However, like I was saying to you earlier, the problem with that is we lose teeth. Okay, I don't think nothing of it. We keep on losing teeth. We keep on losing teeth. Okay, next thing we know, we're missing 14, 16 teeth out of a natural 32 tooth dentition. Sorry. We can't chew correctly. So now that we can't chew, now we can't chew our food. Now we're not digesting food correctly. And now we're not digesting food correctly. Now we're putting on weight, further giving rise to another diabetic entendre. So I just wanted everybody to understand. And I wish I could take questions. That'd be awesome, because a lot of people have questions about diabetes, Doc. I don't know if I got diabetes or not. Why am I missing teeth? Things of that nature. And I wish I could take questions. I know there'll be a time where I can, but diabetes, as it relates to health, as far as oral health is, the body heals slowly when you have diabetes. If we have diabetes and we're talking about the oral cavities, we do not fight off tooth decay. The actual antibodies that's in our saliva that we fight off actual cavities with isn't effective. Our ability to fight off the bacteria that's underneath our gums, y'all have heard of periodontal disease, I just talked about it. It gets rampant quicker in a diabetic patient than it would a natural healthy patient. So that's the nutshell, that's the nuts and the bolts of it.
So, Dr. Hodges, I know that a lot of times people shy away from, finding out more about their dental health because they are simply afraid of the dentist.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you couple that with what you just described, which is, having an autoimmune situation going on, and people are thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to go to the dentist and I'm going to hear the worst because I am a diabetic, or I have high blood pressure, or whatever it is. I think, especially in our community, we definitely tend to, just pretty much stay away from these types of treatments or preventive care because of our fears. So what would be your best advice for people who, first of all, are dealing with the subject that we're talking about tonight, which is diabetes, and they need to see about their dental health, but also, I think that, talking to certain people about, their fears, most of them say, they use incredible needles, or I've heard that the pain is X and Y and Z. And I think if we can help to kind of eliminate some of the stigmas of, a dental visit, there may be more people who will be inclined to actually go and see about their dental health. So, what are some things you can share with the audience about how they should approach dental health or the idea of going to the dentist?
I would encourage people to approach dental health as they approach their whole entire body. And I don't want people to feel as if their mouth is just an island off of the side of their body. It's all attached. A little more of a surface level conversation with a diabetic. There are people with diabetes type 1 that have to take their blood sugar a number of different ways. The needles that you mentioned before, that needle happens only if we need to do it. And don't get me wrong, there are many people that are afraid of needles, and I understand why. But understanding the reason and the cause behind us using a little local anesthesia just to get a patient to a point where they can retain their teeth, and more importantly, retain their smile. I love smiles. Kind of what I do. That is what I do. These are important things.
Right.
Again, hitting back on something I said earlier, you got a typical patient that's got 28 teeth in their mouth. They can chew and function, eat bacon, eat whatever they want to eat with confidence and smile after, as opposed to the patient that's diabetic, or more, that's scarier than that, undiagnosed diabetic. Because uncontrolled diabetes is something that's in our community. In Horry County, not just our community, but it's in our area. We've got people that just undiagnosed diabetes. Things go from kind of bad to really worse when we don't go to the doctor. But hitting back on what you were saying, how can I encourage people? Look at the mouth as a part of your body. Look at the mouth as that's a window for you. And if anything, we're, as practitioners, we're trying to keep the teeth that you have in your mouth so that you can function that you have. Because losing teeth is, it may seem like the easy thing. And I touched on this a few months ago. Everybody, once you start getting in the habit of losing teeth, it becomes easier to say, oh, I'll just lose another one. Not a good habit, not a good practice to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say there's one question that came in from Sister Joella. Are you able to come in person and do a workshop at an event?
Yes, absolutely.
There are healthcare events that are happening all over the community all the time. Sometimes the sororities are having healthcare fairs, or there may be some, healthcare fairs in some of the underserved communities, and that's particularly important as well. So that's great if you're able to get out to the public if the public can't come to you.
Our underserved population is where we need to be heard the most. Talking to people that know what they're supposed to be doing and doing it. That's one thing. Again, here we go. We're talking about people with uncontrolled diabetes. You got uncontrolled diabetes, there's a good chance we got some other health issues that aren't being addressed that quickly become undone. I'll touch on it again. Diabetes leads to vision loss. We take it for granted when somebody says vision loss, but everything is okay until you can't see.
Start losing the vision. Start losing the vision. Yeah.
Everything's okay. Kidney failure is another thing. Everything is okay until you go to dialysis.
Yeah.
That's a way of life, and the audience, the viewers that are out there that are on dialysis, it's not something to be taken lightly. So if catching diabetes early, regardless of what we're talking about with teeth, I know we're talking about oral health but or comprehensive health and preventative health as it pertains to the body and the mouth. If I'm trying to catch, I would like for us to be a little more aware and a little more awake to catching things before they get. Nobody wants to go to the doctor. Nobody wants to go to the dentist. But nobody wants to. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I try to bring it full circle, and nobody wants to see a needle. Nobody wants to come to the dentist. I understand the fears, and we touched on that before. Because so many years we did not have access, and when we did have access, we only limited to a few treatment options. We weren't always. We didn't have access to crown and bridge work. We didn't always have access to dentures and partials, implants. It's take it out, and that's it. Keep on going.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I'm here trying to change.
Yeah, that seems to have been very acceptable in our community. Uh, a lack of for lack of a better word, I guess aesthetics. Your teeth being out, in the front, and a lot of stuff like that, um, and since when I was growing up, I mean, that was just the norm. I mean, it didn't matter. It seemingly didn't matter, and like you said, that was the easiest thing to do. And I'm sure income has a lot to do with it.
It does.
Yeah.
Income and access, they go, and we took that before. Many times, there are many places around America, in some extent today, where we have people young and old that just do not have access, whether it's
Right.
income related or not, access, seeing practitioners, that kind of thing.
Right. That's
Yeah,
true.
that's the message. The message today is, I can talk about periodontal disease and losing teeth all day long till I'm blue in the face. But the take home message is total health, really, because
Mm-hmm.
if we're not taking care of ourselves, going to the doctor, seeing our private practitioner, say, hey, go ahead and get these lab values. Dr. Hodges, the dental world, we're not going to take a lab value and be like, hey, you got sugars running rampant here. We're not going to do that. When we see you, we've got to actually triage it out, question, hey, what's going on? Who are you seeing a practitioner regularly, so on and so forth. But in doing so, we're hoping to catch people that, hey, you know what? You might want to see a primary care physician and get some of these conversations going on, because the thing we don't want to see anymore of it, a patient comes in and missing 14, 16 already. We don't want them to lose anymore. And many
Yeah.
times, by the time we see that patient's that same patient that didn't have access, many times that patient has to lose even more teeth, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. We touched base on the economics of that. Now, uh, uh, could are you in a position to let people know that there's financing available? Well, not just financing, but like not free health insurance, but things like Obamacare, affordable health care. Uh,
absolutely.
yeah, that plays.
And
Yeah.
I can speak on my office. In my office, we use Medicaid, not in network with adult Medicaid yet, working on that. But however, even that being said, a lot of people are not aware that we do take care credit, which is many times of the year a no interest credit card.
Right.
So we're here, and there are things that we can work around if healthcare can't be it. But many times, a patient with a little bit of digging, a little bit of research, can go find healthcare avenues to have themselves taken care of and looked at.
That's interesting compared to the past, compared to what 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Couldn't even speak in those terms.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you have to take a step back and wonder. Well, that's a whole nother conversation. The two twins were talking about politics earlier. I don't want to get into politics. That's the bad word. But I take my hat off to them for their bravery and understanding what's going on in the world around them. That's I
Mm-hmm.
hat off to them, because what they saw with what they were talking about this evening, that's a headache.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'll stay in my lane, and I'll stay in my little area. I just want the viewers to know that we're here. I'm here. I'm right down on 544, and I'm sure we'll get the graphic up again. But we're here, and we're dedicated to, more importantly, preventative care in the dental office. If we
Mm-hmm.
Before it gets to the point where you got diabetes, before we
Right.
get periodontal disease, by the time we get there, there's some conversations that should have happened before. And I spend more time, and Mr. McQueen will tell you, I spend more time talking about things that we need to do before they get bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things. The ladies in the office, they'll tell you, I will run behind on a schedule talking about things that we can do before bad things. because I want the patients to understand, hey, I'm not here just to, hey, this is what you need. I'm about to be out the door. That's not how I practice. I never have. They'll get on me 1,000 times a day about not moving fast enough when I'm literally just trying to say, hey, patient, I care about you. Let's have a conversation later about what we can do so you don't go through what you've already did.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's great because I think there's an absence of that quality of care. You hear it a lot, people saying, I went into the doctor's visit and not only did they only spend less than 10 minutes with me, they sat across the room and I was, they never assessed my lungs, they never checked anything. And a lot of times patients feel, I guess, somewhat unheard when they're speaking about the issues that they're having, and there's that scripted delivery of what they should do or, what type of care can be provided. And I hear that a lot, especially with older family members, if they've been seeing a doctor for a number of years and they just keep prescribing the same thing over and over and over again. And you were talking earlier about, or a few minutes ago, about the preventive side of things. So for folks who, need a dental visit, but, they're trying to get themselves together, trying to get their mind right for it or whatever the case is, what are some things that they can do in the meantime to make sure that they are at least taking care of their teeth prior to a visit to a dentist?
Flossing, using a water pick, and I'm sure anybody who has ever been to a Walmart, Kohl's, or a Target has been down the dental aisle and seen a water flosser. Water flossers are a great tool. Flossing is good. Flossing, if you don't have anything else, is great for what it's worth. Water picks, they will allow you to actually get an antimicrobial like a Listerine or a Crest anti-cavity mouth rinse in between your teeth where you can't actually get floss to go. Without a diagram or some graphics or some actual models, it's kind of hard for me to do that. Feed here today, but there are places in our mouth that we cannot see that microorganisms grow, and these are the places where diabetics get hit the hardest because these cells that are attacking the place where we can't see, fighting those pathogens are at risk and compromised, which is why we end up with the periodontal disease, which then leads to the bone loss, which then leads to ultimately tooth loss. And then that's the rabbit hole that I was saying earlier. I don't want people to walk around without teeth. I spend a lot of time putting teeth back in people's mouths so that they can chew. I like eating. That's my deal. I'm a foodie, and I feel like everybody should be able to enjoy that. I feel like that are brave enough to come and see me, I'm willing to spend time and make it my business to at least try to see to it that they can chew.
Yeah,
that's put on myself years and years ago. I like eating, to be honest with you.
Maybe that should be part of your slogan on your sign on the outside, man. Hey, look, we make you chew.
Brother Edward, I love that. We make you chew, or you like to eat, see your dentist. Plain and simple. That's crazy.
I want to use it just like that. I got to watch out because some of my diabetic patients, I got to watch them. But yeah, I love it. And you know what? If you want to chew again, come see us. I restore. There are people that I met that weren't eating bacon, weren't eating that and the third. A little bit of time and patience. Been rehabilitated to a point where they can come out where they want to come out, go out, eat where they want to eat, with confidence. It's not about eating that kind of stuff at home anymore. You spend all this money here, there, and everywhere else. Why not be able to chew like you used to chew? At least eat some things you love to eat from time to time.
Right.
But
I think we kind of rolled right into this segment without allowing Dr. Hodges, or Dr. T, as you call him, to formally introduce himself to those viewers who don't know who he is or who haven't seen our previous broadcast that featured him on the show. So, Dr. Hodges, would you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and also, where they can find you, the name of your business?
Absolutely. My name is Dr. Taurean Hodges. I am from Columbia, South Carolina. Moved down to the area in 2010. Been practicing as a solo practitioner here since 2015. The office is located right down here on 544. It's 201 Chartwell Court. If you're coming down 544 from Conway, before you get to Target, there's a little side street, and my office is right on the left-hand side. It says Inlet Premier Implant and Cosmetic Dentistry. It's very visible and not hard to find at all. Right across the street, there's a Mavis Tire across the street.
New Mavis Tire.
There's Zaxby's a little bit further down, but if you get to Zaxby's, you went a little too far. You get too far. It's a blue and green sign.
The office, I might add, it's a beautifully laid out office. I might add, since I've been there, and it's very welcoming. You know, it's very impressive. Okay.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. McQueen, a lot.
Impressive. Yeah.
And I'm very appreciative of the support that I've gotten from the many families that are coming from Conway, Carolina, that are driving to see us. I can't thank everyone enough for the support, but I do want to let everybody know that I wake up in the morning with helping everybody who walks through that door and try to make it at ease. You know, it is hard to go to the dental office. Nobody
make them, it will be available to chew. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look,
all right.
honest. I'm an honest figure. We strive to bring that level of anxiety down.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's from hearing a little bit of laughter in the back, I've got staff here that's second to none when it comes to actually just getting people to understand, this is what we want to do for you. You know, just bringing that anxiety down. You know, offices, you know, the anxiety is up to you.
Man, but I'll tell you one thing, the anxiety goes up when you try to hide that needle. You put when you're about to put it in somebody's mouth, man.
I'm still trying it. I'm still trying to be sneaky, man.
That's a huge needle, man.
I'm still trying. You're not helping us right now, bro.
That's a huge needle. But it does its job. Okay, it does its job. The results are very impressive.
You looking like you're doing. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the results. So, you know, earlier you touched base on the immune system. So obviously, it makes it difficult for you when the immune system is compromised before they get there.
Yes, sir.
And there's that fear, or you may seem that it's a liability case when it could be further compromised based on what you have to do with their teeth. Right.
Yeah.
For example, diabetes, you say could encroach into certain parts.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. If you want me to, I can go into that a little bit. Many times when we're dealing with antibiotic patients, we can't actually treat an antibiotic patient off the street right away. It's not every time. If your diabetes is controlled, if you're on top of it, type 2, sometimes we can manage things here right away at the office. Sometimes we can't. You get an active infection as a diabetes type 1 patient, or an active infection as a diabetes type 2 patient. Not 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, I'm giving that patient antibiotics to give their immune system the best case scenario for healing.
Right.
Without a doubt, without question. That's just safety. That's all that is. That's just safety. That's what I do. I'm very well accustomed to taking care of people above the age of 55. Here in Horry County, Georgetown County, that's what we have. And we've got a large retired community here.
Yeah.
So dealing with my patients that are, taking the various metformins, the various diabetes prescriptions, stuff like that, they come in. My patients will come in, and they, many of my patients that I've had rapport with for a number of years, they don't have to tell me. I remember, I know. But for my new patients, a short conversation. Hey, are you controlled? Are you not? When's the last time you've seen your physician? I used to go, and that's a whole other conversation many times. But before we ever start taking care of that patient, our first avenue is to make sure we can get the pathogens and the immune system on board with what we want to do. So yeah, using my antibiotics, and yeah, that's we start there many times with diabetic patients.
So what kind of communication you think is lacking in order to make it more palatable for a certain income of people to know the advantages of getting things like bridges, or making it, again, I use the word chewable, making sure that they can chew. Okay.
I think that communication and fear
Yeah.
are what we have to overcome. I feel like, and this is in my 13 years of practice, I feel like I think people know what needs to be done.
Right.
Like the people that do know that don't come are the people that either A, don't have access, or have picked up from an ancestor or a loved one the need to not go. I should say it that way. I should say it, I guess, Ms. McQueen, what's the word that I'm looking for? Because we were talking earlier about the sense of urgency about getting something addressed before it gets to a certain point. I think that's the best way I can describe it. Okay, yeah, my mom's mom, they didn't go until it started hurting.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of our family members have said that? So I think communication is one thing.
Right.
But it's 2023. I think that most everyone knows that there are practitioners out here, and one way or another, there's a plan that they can get on so that they can be seen and treated by somebody, if not myself, out here. So, but Doc, it took everything for me to come in here. I've heard that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I've heard it 1,000 times. That,
Mm-hmm.
and so,
For just for being fearful, or
yeah, just the fear, and that, like I said, the communication and understanding the practitioner. There are quite a few practitioners out here practicing dentistry. We're visible,
right.
but again, here where we are demographically, there's a large percentage of us that, you know what? My mom didn't go till I heard, my dad didn't go till I heard, my dad's dad didn't go till I, because of research.
Right.
It's become commonplace to where people don't have that sense of urgency. By the time there's a sense of urgency, there are many times where when that urgency comes, we don't have a couple of options. Whether it's distraction or something much more expensive.
Yeah, they want you to work miracles then, as they waited so long, and
we got to walk on water, wine, man.
They walk on water, huh?
and make wine.
Dr. Hodges, we have a question from the audience.
Yeah.
Where is the nearest African American periodontist? And I'm taking the AA means African American. Now, what's the difference between a periodontist and a dentist?
A periodontist is a dentist. First and foremost, a periodontist is a dentist. A periodontist specializes in taking care of it, not just advanced cases, but you got periodontal disease, you got mild gingivitis. And when I'm going to go ahead and elaborate a little bit on mild gingivitis is anytime you can actually start flossing and your gums bleed bad. That's mild gingivitis, all the way to advanced perio disease, where you've got severe bone loss and you can probably move your teeth with your fingers. What periodontists do. The nearest perio, there was a lady in Charleston, in Mount Pleasant, and I do not know, I don't want to lie, I don't tell any tales, but there was one there in Charleston. I don't know anything about Wilmington. Last I checked, there was not one, but I know there was one in Charleston.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right.
And question, a periodontist is a dentist that has spent anywhere between 3 to 4 more years after dental school and taking care of trying to retain teeth that have been succumbed to periodontal disease.
Okay. I want to go back to something you said earlier about like the generational cycle of things, and how, if we didn't see that behavior in our parents or grandparents, if they were raising children, then, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to follow that, you're going to follow their behavior, which is not going to the dentist, not going to the doctor, or whatever. As I think about that, I also think about the probability that some of our dental health is rooted in hereditary factors. Is there any truth to that? Will you inherit some type of a gum disease or, tooth abnormality or whatever based on your heritage?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just as we can find a quick analogy as a father and a son. Hey, son, you're going to lose your hair right in this same spot here about 5-10 years from now. Periodontal disease does come into play many times if it is not addressed.
Mm-hmm.
Just like with diabetes, just like with, I lost my dad's dad to a stroke, lost my dad to a stroke, so on and so forth. If we're not taking care of our bodies, if we've got the same eating habits, we've got the same drinking habits as our ancestors that did not have things taken care of and didn't get addressed. Yeah, very much so. Genetically, our parents give us a lot. It's up to us to look at what we have and take care of our bodies. We can't blame dad. That's not okay anymore.
All right.
I think that's a fair warning. When nature allows you to know that it's in your DNA for any of the things like high blood pressure, something like that. But you can say like my dad had it or my mom had it, so I'm expecting to get it. I've heard that many times.
And I'm not trying to cut you off, Mr. McQueen, but you know what? My dad had it. My dad's dad had it. My dad's dad had it. I'm thinking in my mind, you know what? I've got a chance.
That's right. That's right.
I got to, you know what? It's that genetic for family, things like cancer, things like high blood pressure, hypertension. These are things that come down through bloodline. But knowing about it isn't okay if you don't do anything about it. That's my stance on it. It may sound a little bit harsh, but I deal with that. And these are conversations. These are real conversations that I have with my patients. I say, don't be afraid of your genetics. Don't be afraid of them. It's a heads up, like you just finished saying.
Yeah.
That's almost like a cheat code.
Right. Right.
You saw your parents at whatever age you saw them at. While some of our parents are still living, some of them are not. But we got to see what our parents looked like for X amount of time. We got context clues. So there are times where we got to take advantage.
Well, I think that's a fair warning.
Yeah. Well, brother Edward, this has been some excellent information from Dr. Hodges, and yes, and I think that the more that we bring him on the show to talk to our audiences and they become familiar with him, he's definitely going to be looked at as a trusted source for this type of information, and hopefully it'll make people feel more, more comfortable with the idea of going and also just looking into their general health. I think the root of all of what he said lies in the fact that, as he said, diabetes is undiagnosed or untreated is that's a layer of it all. And there are things that we definitely need to take a look at when it comes down to any type of illness that we have that may exacerbate the problems that could formulate in the mouth or vice versa. So information you gave, as usual, is great. And we certainly do appreciate you taking the time. I'm sure you had a very long day. Yes, sir.
I got two things. First thing is for the first question that popped up. I am looking, I've said this before, but I am looking forward to more opportunities to work with our community. I feel like it's one thing to go to an office and get in the chair and see a stranger like myself. But it's another thing that if, you see me at a community event, you got to talk to me and questions. I don't shy away from questions when I'm not here at the office.
Right.
That's why I went to school all these years, questions so that I can get people taken care of. On top of that, the patient that asked about an African-American practitioner doing perio, There are a couple in Columbia, but unless you already know that you 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 got to go see a periodontist, make a stop at a local general practitioner and make sure that, hey, I have to go see a periodontist. There are times where some GPs, some general practitioners, there to some degree, like I said, periodontal disease got 4 stages. You got gingivitis all the way down to advanced periodontal disease. There are times if we get ahead of things, we can manage things here on this level.
Mm-hmm.
It may take us going to the dentist to have our teeth cleaned 4 times a year as opposed to 2 times a year.
Right.
There are things we can do. I understand there might not be another African American here in our area, but I want everybody to get the best treatment. Sometimes we can manage things and do well here if we just explore our options. That's all I wanted to say, and I appreciate y'all.
Well, we appreciate you, man. we appreciate you bringing this information to our audience. Of course, you're only going to get it on WCM Live.
Heard.
April like to call. April calls it what? April free.
Free 99. This is the way you get anything you need to know. Free 99. If you go to Dr. Hodges, we can't guarantee that, but at least he's coming to us to give you some free stuff before you get to him. Okay? Free education. Free 99.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what that is.
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
right. So look, thank you so much, Dr. T. And of course, I'm sure we'll be seeing each other.
Let your viewers know the graphic that you had. Let them know where we are. Both of y'all got my cell phone number. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you say it again before we roll out? Where you located?
The address is 201 Chartwell Court. That's Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 29588. The telephone number is 843. Hold on, 843-215-5200. 843-215-5200. Yeah, that's the office number.
All right. You don't call yourself a lot in the office. I get it. Look, I get it. I get it.
I had to think about it.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us this evening. We really appreciate it. All right. Take care.
Good night.
Brother Edward, I tell you, we have had an excellent show tonight. We've had Destiny and Desmond Porterfield with the Porterfield Report, and Dr. Taurean Hodges, Inlet Premier Dentistry and Cosmetic Dentistry, just giving us that free education about oral health and diabetes. Very great, just excellent information tonight. And so we hope that all of you enjoyed it. Share this broadcast after we're done. You can share it through Facebook. You can share it from YouTube. Somebody needs this information, right, Brother Edward?
Right. Go straight to the website, right?
That's right. Go straight to the website.
WC Magazine. .net.
Absolutely. So thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope that you all continue to have a wonderful week, and we'll see you this time next week, right?
God bless.
All right.
Next time,
Absolutely.
7 p.m. Tuesday.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Take care.
See you.
Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your host Edward McQueen and April Garner.